Hey folks, Phil Gallagher here with some more Squadron Hawk taxes. Speaking of, we've got one in our opener. Your opponent has mulliganed, but just once. So it may just be some reasonable deck, not just like Black-Red Reanimator. Alright, looks like we're playing against Delver. We have a pretty great hand versus Delver, with triple planes and 3 relevant 2-drop threats in the matchup. Oh, nice. Just F6 there, no counterspell. So this is an interesting turn. If I play a 3-drop and incentivize my opponent to daze it, I can't really, like, say Fatal Push the Thalia this turn. It feels like something like Fatal Push. Well, I guess if they have Fatal Push Force plus blue card, they could do it. Or no, I guess Fatal Push then Daze does it too. Alright, I take that back. So maybe we should play around Daze. We're going to play another Must Answer card here. Alright, well, Stoneforge is now resolving. So we got that going for us. Bug decks historically have a lot of trouble with Batterskull, so we're going to go ahead and pick that up this turn. I kind of just want to take 2 of these now. Good enough. So the only way that we really knew our opponent was Delver was because they pitched a Delver 2 Force of Will, so make sure you're paying attention to that when you're playing on Magic Online. So I'm going to like Path, I'm going to like Rip and Council's Judgment. I may even play Gideon. May get cute, too. So let me explain those later choices, because you might be going, Phil, why do you want to play a 4-drop against Delver? Bug Delver is usually way slower than, like, say, Blue-Red Delver or Grixis Delver, in that it takes a few more turns of setup for some of your threats to come online, so you oftentimes end up playing a way more controlling game. It's really going to depend on how many cards I have that I'm going to want to cut. So most of the cards that I would normally cut aren't actually in the deck right now, right? So, like, normally I go and cut things like the Revokers, and they're just not here. So I think Prelate is going to be pretty bad. If my opponent is playing things like, say, Plague Engineer, some of my X ones are probably going to want to get trimmed. So I'll probably, like, trim a Flicker Wisp. We'll probably trim a Mom. You know, when I'm on the draw, I might just, like, junk my Thalias. That would leave me with 15 creatures. That's not going to do it. Hmm. This would leave me with 17 creatures, which I don't love, but that just may be the way that the Squadron Hawk build is going to work if I'm going to be playing the Force of Virtues. And the Force of Virtues will help me play around Plague Engineer. I could sub some Force of Virtues for Gideons, though. The ability to, like, pitch cast this for free in response to a Plague Engineer is pretty huge, though. I'm not sure about my boarding, but I really want to play my fun of Sword of Body and Mind here. So, I think this has to go back. I don't have any resources to actually deal with anything that my opponent puts on board, and I only have 17 creatures to dump in with these Ether Vials. Well, this hand's much better, and I think I'm just going to bottom the Caracas and keep mana stability. We're probably going to wait and play Swords to Plowshares around Days, especially now. Now we're not even getting hymned. Ooh, that's very good. That's very, very good. Thoughtseize is fine. I'm willing to give them the choice of cards here. I don't think I need a 2-for-1 myself to put a Force of Virtue into play when I already have Path to Exile as an answer to a Plague Engineer that comes down. I need something to pressure my opponent's life total so they just can't draw a billion cards. I think I'm willing to play this into Days so that I can get a 2-drop and really go ham. So, like, I can get Squadron Hawk here and then pitch cast Force of Virtue on my opponent's turn. And I just think that's nuts. I guess I should play around something like a Vendilion Click and just dump one of these in right now. Again, not that I really think my opponent has that, but like a Click or a Stifle or any equivalent card, you know, a Krosan Grip or something like that, just absolutely ruins me. My opponent really needs a counterspell here. Yep, okay. That's fine. Like, they can name Bird, then I can Path to Exile Plague Engineer. And I've still kind of ended up ahead here. Their Days was a 2-for-1. This is a 2-for-1, but, like, I still have 2 birds. I do give them a shuffle off their Sylvan Library, but I think that's unavoidable. What don't I want them to have? I guess another Plague Engineer is about the most devastating thing. A Tarmogoyf kind of sucks, but... yeah, that's a big boy. I'm going to leave this on 2 for the time being. Make them decide what they want to do with that right now. If they were to brainstorm in response to that, they'd just be redrawing the cards that they want to shuffle away via Sylvan Library, so I don't care about that. If my opponent doesn't have another creature, it's probably fine for me to take this hit. But if they do have another creature, I should really just take this opportunity to block. So, you know, for example, they don't go like land, Tarmogoyf, and then have 12 power on the board next turn. I'm not going to block, because if I rip Force of Virtue off the top, it's really nice to have another body. Okay. Now am I attacking? So I can attack for 3, put my opponent to 7. If my opponent flips the Delver, which they assuredly should because of the Sylvan Library, they will attack me for 9. That will put me to 4. I will not be dead to a Delver hit the next time around. I think this is probably a turn where I'm going to go ahead and take the chump block off of Recruiter. Note, they are not necessarily going to draw that Brainstorm because of the Sylvan Library. I'm not dead on board, but things are starting to look bad. Ugh. I think I'm largely going to be playing to a Flicker Wisp out. Flicker Wisp next turn would blank out the Tarmogoyf and trade with the Delver. But I think I'm dead to my opponent pretty much having anything. Okay, that can... That can buy me some time. It's not great, but I'm not dead. Question now becomes, do I do this now or do I wait? If I wait, their decisions are more informed. So I think, sorry, if I do it now, their decisions for what to do with the library are more informed. So I think I'm going to wait and try to go for this mid-combat blowout. Please don't have another dude. Okay. Shoot. And that is death. Unfortunate. All right. So I do only have 17 creatures, like I've already pointed out. That may mean that I'm supposed to trim some vials to just keep my creature count decent. Like the vials right now are very good if I draw a Squadron Hawk, but otherwise very, very medium. So what if I like... The Thalias just have anti-synergy with a lot of the things that I want to be playing. So like, what if I keep another one of my moms? I could just go real big. I don't have enough reps with this deck to know how I should be approaching matchups. Like it's just awkward when you want to rely on a 4-drop that you sometimes want to hard cast as part of your strategy. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know, YouTube. I think as a whole, I'm really fine with keeping mana-heavy hands given how I've boarded. I don't think I want the Squadron Hawk to get dazed, so I'd rather play the Stoneforge first, kind of as crazy as that sounds. What am I getting? The fun of? The fun of. I just think my Stoneforge Mystic is too likely to get pushed or decayed for me to want to get Batterskull here. Oh god, library again. Alright, that's getting Council's Judgmented immediately. Nice. No floating of mana, even. Boy, that feels good. That feels so good. I am starting to wonder about what's in my opponent's hand. Like, they haven't played a creature at all. I wonder if I'm supposed to play around something like a Toxic Deluge. So I think I'm going to do a pre-combat Squadron Hawk. Play this around a Daze, and then just, like, send in the Mishra's Factory. Pounding in the tank about my 2/2 here. The 3/3 Mishra's Factory. Better than a lot of other Mishra's Factories. Yeah, sure, Fatal Push my land. I still have 4 power worth of flyers in the air. Alright, the Squawks take it handily, and I believe we're 2-0 in this league now. Good stuff. I'll be back tomorrow.